The second comment I see this morning. I've always liked the 7.62 by 39. I bet you have, Patrick. That's a. Isn't that what we put in the AK? What are you looking to collect on a fatwa? I've got Mario with us this morning. We're about to do some DGUs.
Indeed.
So it is Firearms Friday, defensive gun use, and we're gonna talk about some gun stories. How you doing this morning, Mario?
I'm all right. I'm congested, so bear with me. I'll be extra noisy. But
Understood.
I did have a couple loose ends I wanted to tie up from this week that we didn't cover.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Do you have an
did you hear
article
it?
to go with it that you want me to pull up?
I guess. Damn, did I post it? It's the thing about in Nevada that the Israeli cybersecurity chief got arrested for like soliciting a retarded minor for sex. Got arrested and then was probably allowed to leave the country. Did you hear about that one?
I did not.
Really?
No.
That's.
Did you post it in the Green Dragon?
Maybe I think I did. Yeah, the guy's name was Tom Alexandrovich. All right, he's the chief of the Israeli cybersecurity expert. Okay, arrested in Nevada, and then here, look up here. I guess I can find it real quick. Sorry, guys, amateur hour here. Guy that should have been done beforehand.
Former lieutenant governor Gardner arrested by armed police. Bro, we had 24-hour Walmarts and $1 cheeseburgers. Patrick found the colored bathroom keys in the basement somewhere. Ukrainian FPV drones.
Yeah, for reasons that should be fairly obvious, it kind of disappeared from the news real quick. Here, this is the first article I found. Okay, I just posted it there, and it's from Newsweek, so forgive me.
All right, let's go. Israeli official arrested in child sex sting before
so this guy,
U.S. will fight charge.
Name is right. So yeah, this guy here, name is Tom Alexandrovich, chief of cybersecurity for the Israeli government. Okay, so basically he's Mossad. All right, he got busted during a sex sting operation in Nevada, right, by Nevada State Police, where he got caught trying to solicit sex from a disabled minor. Okay, basically a retarded kid. All right, trying to basically sodomize a retarded kid. So he gets arrested and then is immediately released. Right, immediately released. State Department claims they had nothing to do whatsoever with him getting released, of course. And it was the acting U.S. attorney for Nevada, whose name is Sigal Shattah, okay, who's an Israeli-born woman, was responsible for releasing him, and he promptly fled the country. So
did he use that classic pickup line for disabled people? Hey, baby, if you were a
if you're down, I am.
Potato.
I'm down if you're down. No, I don't, not confirmed. Okay, but yeah. So this guy, senior Israeli official,
so he's a chromosexual. Got it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. So two forms of justice here, people. Okay. And then the other one, minor one of note. Did you hear about that 16-year-old kid who was like that 16-year-old autistic kid who got arrested for eating the fried chicken that was just going to be thrown out anyway from Meijer's food store?
No. Was it an employee?
Yeah, it was an employee. Okay, so Meijer's, if you don't know, is it's a Midwestern grocery chain. Okay, and one store in, I think it was Minnesota. I could be wrong, but anyway, 16-year-old kid worked in the deli. Okay, he's kind of impaired. He's either got some like autism or some Asperger's going on. Okay, one or the other. Right. He's not like critically disabled. He can still work. Anyway, you know how when you put food up in the hot shelf, okay, for sale, right? It's got a certain time period that it
Yeah,
can sit
it's
there before it's
yeah.
expired, right?
If you put it
They
there
got
at
to
eight
throw it
o'clock
out.
in the morning, then by lunch it's trash.
Yeah, exactly. So taking it down, and you're supposed to throw it away, right? Well, this kid basically just decided, well, no sense wasting good fried chicken, so he ate he ate them chicken, and the management team documented him doing this for 3 months so that they were able to calculate that their losses were at $110, which I guess is the minimum. $100 is the minimum for like theft or larceny, whatever the fuck. Okay, I don't I don't know the law quite so much, but they documented him doing this, eating the chicken that was just going to be thrown away for 3 months, and then they charged him for theft. Okay, the police came and arrested the 16-year-old, and they like put him up against the wall too, like agitated him, frightened this young guy. Okay, arrested over fried chicken that was going to be thrown away anyway. I mean, it's just that's why boycott Myers is trending right now. Okay.
So
Yeah,
they
Pitt Denny says they waited for it to be added up to equal a felony. Yeah. So
okay. So that is
it's a dick move.
malicious premeditation.
Yep.
If your employee is doing something you don't want them to do, you have a responsibility as a business owner to confront them immediately, to either fire them or to at least correct the activity, right? So if you catch an employee doing something you don't, let's say it's something totally innocent, like you want him to mop the floor in circles instead of in lines, instead of going from one side to the other, you want him to swab it like it's a poop deck. If you don't tell him that, he doesn't know that. And let me tell you something. When you're a 16, 17-year-old kid working your first job, I bet you somebody told him, oh, yeah, we're just going to throw that away anyway. It's cool.
Yeah.
Right? It's cool. Just, throw away everything. And if you want to grab a piece before you throw it in the trash, you're good to go. Right? I bet you somebody told him that. I used to be a manager at a couple of Papa John's when I was a teenager, and we would make pizza, right? And I was managing, so I had to watch the books and keep track of the money and stuff. But we would make pizza and trade it to the Po folks and get a bucket of fried chicken and some sides for the crew, or trade it with McDonald's for a sack of cheeseburgers, etc. Right? That's something that I don't know if it happens anymore. It used to happen back in the late 90s, early 2000s. We used to do that shit all the time. You're working food service, you get tired of eating pizza every day. You trade pizza with somebody else, you get some sandwiches or some fried chicken or some cheeseburgers, whatever. Right? Very much a thing. And similarly,
I posted it.
I worked at several different restaurants. I've worked at several different restaurants when I was a kid, and it was pretty common practice to take the leftovers at the end of the night. Like, with pizza in particular, what you'd have is somebody orders 3 pepperoni pizzas, right? And Papa John's has extremely high quality standards. So if the pizzas, the 3 pizzas come out the other end of the oven, and one of them's got a big bubble in the middle of it that makes all the cheese and toppings kind of move away from the center, and the pizza's just ugly, you make another pizza, right? You make another pizza, and that one's going in the trash. Well, what it really does, it goes on the top shelf in there, and as everybody's working, nobody's sweating if they grab a slice here and there. And that was standard practice before I was a manager. That's just how the business ran. I saw that working at Papa John's. That's how it was done when I worked at Pizza Hut briefly. That's how it was done when I was heading up the kitchen for Mellow Mushroom. Hell, that's how it was done when I worked at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's for exactly 1 month once. But if you had burger, you pre-make a bunch of cheeseburgers and double cheeseburgers, so they're in the chute for the lunch rush. If you got a few left over at the end,
Yeah.
You had your one employee meal that you were allowed.
Yep.
But if there's just leftover cheeseburgers laying there, nobody's going to bark at you if you grab a cheeseburger and eat it. So, if you tell me that they watched a retarded 16-year-old eat a piece of fried chicken and documented it over a period of time so that they could have him charged with a felony, fuck
Yep.
you.
You fucking bastard. That's why they're getting boycotted. Okay.
Go to jail.
Yeah. They're going to. So Kroger looking real good these days.
And they never. So they.
You can
they
watch
get
the.
out of their way. Like, I mean, what is wrong with people?
Everybody hates passive aggressive behavior. Okay, this is passive aggressive behavior to the limit. Okay, I posted there's an article there. It's got the video embedded. You can watch the police cam video. It's only like a minute long. It'll give you show you exactly what's going on there. And yeah, Patrick, I used to work at McDonald's as well. Okay, yeah, keep going down.
I got to switch it off of reader mode.
Yeah, there's an embedded tweet with a video. I know New York Post is extra fucking pop-up-y. Sorry, that's the video.
Hello. Hey. So we have James here.
Who's James?
Right here.
Right here? Okay.
He is he works in our deli department.
Okay.
And we found out that he's just been taking like orders of chicken and fruit cups and stuff like that off the store
For 110?
Yep.
All right. James, do you have anything on you need to be aware of?
Not
Don't
like
reach for it if you do. Don't reach for it if you do.
Okay, so I have a Sharpie and a box cutter in this pocket. All I have in this pocket is my phone and my earbuds, and then in my back pocket I have my wallet.
Go ahead and stand up for me.
Okay.
All right, just go ahead and put your hands on the wall for me. I'm just gonna take everything out. We'll get it with you.
Yeah.
This kid's 16 years old.
Yep.
Where are his parents?
I don't know.
You're telling me, like, I'm not sure.
There was some. Yeah, there was some follow up to it.
Where the hell are his parents?
I believe I read that his parents were actually like incredibly pissed off.
I should hope so.
Yeah. Yes, Pit Danny. Yes, they handcuffed him. Okay, and I particularly love the "Don't reach for it if you do" by the cop. Like, okay, we're gonna play deadly Simon Says. Okay, a favorite police tactic. No, Fee. That is the management team. That was the Myers management team.
Yeah,
Those three individuals in the office.
Here, I'll bring it back up. You can
tell because they were ashamed.
You can see they're all wearing name tags.
Yeah.
Right. So he's some kind of manager.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not wearing a name tag, but he's some kind of manager because he's the one handling the police report. He's probably the GM.
Yep.
And then when it pans past and you see this woman over here, she's wearing a name tag. She's an employee. God, look at that resting bitch face.
Yeah. You could tell she
and this dude with the clipboard clearly works there.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a lot of pride on their faces for what they're doing.
No. They know they're wrong.
Yeah, they are. And
you know what? I'm glad you brought that one up because I've got another one where they know they're wrong. Oh shit. Closed out the screen share. I'll get back to that one in a minute. Okay. This one. Okay, so I've just read the headline. I haven't watched the video yet. So I'm going to retain some of my criticism until we've actually heard what happens here. But the headline, no, not that one. We'll come back to her in a minute.
Yeah, play
The
that
headline
too.
on this one is Federal Police Officers Confiscate Illegally Concealed Firearm from a Law-Abiding Citizen in D.C.
Hey, sir, can I get your name? He just took my gun from me. Can I get your name? Why you took my gun from me now?
It is a misdemeanor. You did not tell me that you were armed when you were stopped by the police.
And I asked you what's the probable cause, right? When you pulled up on me, did you ask me? You said I'm pulling you over for what? Did you say that?
This is a terrible place to be arguing, man. I'm just being real.
Nah, but that's wrong. Y'all know that's wrong. I told him before he pulled me out of the car, I said I got my arm gun on me. Did I say that? I said that.
Okay, so you hear the cop, my brother. Okay, this brother doesn't sound real sharp, but he's right. He is right. So here are the facts. Here are the facts as we know them. The claim we hear is that he was in a traffic stop, and the police discovered that he had a firearm. He's got his license in his hand, right? That's a key element here, is that he has a license, a concealed carry license for that firearm. The argument being made is that in D.C., you have what's called a duty to inform. So if you have an interaction with a police officer under any circumstances, you're required to say, hey, I am currently lawfully armed. I'm carrying a firearm. I am armed right now. Most states do not have a duty to inform. In fact, in some states, like Georgia, it is a constitutional violation for the officer to ask you if you're armed, right? And let's be clear, in all states, whether the state has a law or not, whether the state has a duty to inform law or not, it is a violation. It is an absolute violation of your constitutional rights, of your Fourth and Fifth Amendment right for a police officer to compel you to answer the question. All right, asking, are you armed, is not a violation, right? For First Amendment free speech, cop can ask you anything he wants. But to compel you, to threaten you with violence, with arrest, with retaliation, that is a violation. That's Section 242. And I've made this argument before. Because Section 242 had deprivation of civil liberties under color of law, because Section 242 has escalating penalties depending on the seriousness of the harm caused by the deprivation of civil liberties, and that scaling penalty goes all the way up to and including the death penalty. I would argue that anytime a federal agent, an agent of the government, attempts to violate the Second Amendment rights of an American citizen, that what they are doing is they are putting that person in an exponentially higher class of risk of death by violence. I would argue that every violation by a federal agent of the Second Amendment, according to Section 242 under U.S. Code 18, demands the death penalty for that federal agent. Or, I'm sorry, not federal agent. It's Section 242, under color of law. It could be a state agent or a city cop. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. If the housing authority code enforcement officer comes up and tries to take your rifle away from you, his ass belongs at the end of a rope.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things. It's not my opinion. It's the law.
Fee jokes, when asked if she was armed, she would left and right wave arms. Okay. Fee, that's how you get shot. You see, because the police are like bears, all right? They get scared if you artificially increase your size, okay? You can get shot that way, okay? You don't want to do that, Fee, okay? Pro tips.
Yeah, I got thrown out of school for a week because I was towering once.
His crime, glowering.
Towering. You've heard that story, right, Mario?
Yeah.
Where the teacher threw the marker at me? It literally said towering on the suspension paperwork.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what you have here,
feared for his life.
So what you have here, these officers are in clear violation of the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the Second Amendment, and the Eighth Amendment. Because I would absolutely argue that disarming a person in a dangerous world is a cruel and unusual punishment.
Well, gee, Chris, I don't know. That sounds real unconstitutional. That's a lot of amendments.
No, whereas, libs, leftists also love their guns. Liberals, Democrats, they may be all on the gun control wagon, but leftists, look at this spiteful mutant.
Oh God.
You ready?
Oof.
So I would like to start a new movement called CMAGA, because people like that respond to fear and terror and aggression, not logic and empathy and, I don't know, intelligence. It doesn't work for them.
Do you see the face this woman's making? It's always in the eyes. She's got those George W. Bush eyes.
She's got She's got Kamala Harris eyes. Okay, like
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. It's the snake eyes. They're too close together. They're just right. And I was just she's speaking about murdering people over their political philosophy, political preference, and she's speaking gleefully, like with almost sexual pleasure. Like
fear works. So if we all get our guns and use our Second Amendment right and our common sense, at this point, this administration is begging us to rise up and revolt.
And she said, we use our Second Amendment right. You don't have a Second Amendment right to murder people, you daffy twat. You have a Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms.
Yep.
Right? You have a Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. You have a right to defend yourself. Right?
Well, see, that would be their argument. They preemptively defended themselves by killing you because you were represented because
preemptive self-defense.
Step gas chambers, right? It's happening again. So, yeah, I mean, that's their logic.
Well, here's
yeah, she uses the word empathy as well. Okay, if you're not empathetic, you deserve.
They're
to
not
die.
capable. They're not capable of feeling empathy.
It's projection. Whether they intend it or not, it's always projection with them.
Yeah, this she clearly needs to have. She clearly needs to take a ride on the hysteria machine. Mario, are you familiar with the hysteria machine?
Hysteria machine? No.
Yeah. Really?
Sounds fun.
Let me see if I can find the clip for you where Homeboy's explaining the.
Sounds like a really good roll. It sounds like a roller coaster. I'd like to ride. The hysteria machine.
Oh, okay. Well, it was essentially a steam-powered sex toy designed for curing women of hysteria. I wish I could pull the clip up real quick because there actually is a great clip of it from an episode of Boston Legal that's fucking hilarious.
Is it like the Buckbreaker 3000? Okay, the farm tool used to break up.
It is a steam engine
early bucks
with a piston.
Yeah, it's the Buckbreaker 3000. Okay, same concept.
Okay, so let's swing back to the other side of women. The good side of women. I got a mama bear story for us this morning. Not that bitch. This one. Mother with baby fatally shoots suspected home invader in Joliet.
Based?
Right? My wife has a paint can with ammunition in it. That's 1,000 rounds of 9mm. Good luck, boys. Because I promise, if you've made it far enough to take a bite of that 9mm onto this property, you're already in rough shape. 5.56 walks a long walk. Anyway, A mother with a baby shot and killed a home invasion suspect Friday night on Hardrain Drive in Joliet, Illinois, police said. A mother with a baby fatally shot. Jesus Christ. Let's just reprint the headline 4 times. Home invader in the south suburbs on Friday night. Police said officers responded to a report of a home invasion in the 7,000 block of Hadrian Drive. Police said the woman, armed with a gun, heard someone break into her home. That's when she took her child and hid in a bedroom closet on the 2nd floor. Police believe that when the suspect entered that bedroom, the woman opened fire, striking him in the head. Oh!
Damn.
Headshot!
Oof. Almost
Aaron
anti.
Olson asks, okay, you know what, Aaron? We appreciate the super chat. We appreciate your Rumble rant there. I'm going to pin that for a minute, but we're going to come back to it. Police believe that when the suspect entered that bedroom, the woman opened fire, shooting him in the head. Responding officers found the woman and her child in the adjacent bedroom, police said. The suspect was wearing gloves and had a screwdriver at the time. The woman did not know who he was, and his identity has not been released. Yes, it has. We know exactly who he was. He was the bad guy.
Armed with a screwdriver. Be looking like wet bandits.
You're in the wrong house. You've broken into someone else's home, and you have a weapon, even if a makeshift weapon.
Yeah.
You're gonna need to come up with a hell of a story.
Yeah.
Right. I remember when I was young, I was less than 8, because I know that I was less than 8 years old because it happened when we still lived in Riverdale. So I was probably 7. I was old enough to remember it, but not old enough to have moved out of that town. Dad wasn't home. It was just Mom and me and my baby sister. So my baby sister would have been 1 or 2 years old at the time. And some dude came up and knocked on the door, and he was bleeding all over himself, covered in blood, white T-shirt covered in blood. And, you gotta appreciate this is mid 80s, right? 86, 7, 8, somewhere in there. Covered in blood, had, Mom gave him a rag to clean his face off with. And he was begging to he wanted to use the phone. And everything turned out fine, and it was legitimate. It was legitimate.
Pre-cell phone, right?
Yeah, right. Mid 80s, right? No cell phones.
Yeah.
Right. So, and where we lived at the time, it wasn't way out in the country like where I live now, but the nearest payphone was, I couldn't legitimately tell you, but from 40-year-old memory, I'm sure the nearest payphone was 5 or 6 miles away at least. And this guy had apparently been, I think he had been jumped and beaten and robbed. And he wanted to call the police, and mom didn't let him in the house. She was very, she wasn't rude or mean about it. She gave him a rag to clean his face off with, let him use the phone, or called the police for him. I'm not sure on that one. And told him he could, I think she sent him to wait at the end of the driveway. Okay, so there you go. There's a case, emergency situation. Now let's imagine that everything that happened to that poor guy happened to him in that world where the cell phone doesn't exist. He's badly injured, bleeding, and there's nobody home. He knocks on the door. He's bleeding. He's badly injured. He's scared for his life. He knocks on the door. Nobody answers the door. He doesn't just not have a cell phone because he was robbed and it was taken from him, but cell phones just aren't even a thing. And there's no other houses nearby. Right? Now, that's a generous offering here. There was one more house across the street from us, but there wasn't a lot of houses in close walking distance at this property. He'd had to walk across our property to the other side to get to the next house without the one across the street. Anyway, Where, by the way, the one across the street, he'd likely have been shot walking up to the door. That was also family. But you knock on the door, you're in that kind of terrible, terrible shape, and I don't know. I don't know where I am. I don't know where the hospital. I don't know where I can go for help. I don't know how far I'm gonna have to go to find a payphone or somebody will let me use a phone. You know what? Personally, at that point, okay, I might kick down the door and pray I can find a phone and call for help. And that's a beg forgiveness. It's better to beg forgiveness than ask permission.
What happens if
that's a very generous offering. Now, if you pick the lock open, are uninjured, and carrying a weapon into my home, I mean, I'm going to have to call 811.
what if it turns out it was actually the neighbor? Okay, and he thought that the house is empty, and he was breaking in, and he had that screwdriver specifically just to change the 9-volt battery in the smoke detector. Okay, because it was annoying. It was annoying him through the wall, and that cost him his life. Okay, would that change the equation for you, Chris? At all?
No, that's not a plausible option here. If you want me to, I can read the article again. But you'll notice that the assailant's race isn't mentioned, which means he's not of the fire alarm battery changing variety.
Yep.
If his race were mentioned in the article, then I'd concede that your claim had some plausibility. But his race is not mentioned in the description.
I see.
So. Okay, so to your question, Aaron Olson, Judge Pirro was celebrating guns being taken off the streets in D.C. from criminals. How do you feel about this? Okay, you're kind of because you hit me with a rumble rant here. I'm definitely going to address it directly, but fair play. I haven't seen what you're talking about there. If you can send me a link that I can pull up, I'll be happy to take a look at it. But on basic principle, this is one that I feel a little tricky about. I don't want criminals to be armed. I don't want career criminals to be armed. Right? The kind I'm going to say career criminals here because I'm not talking about some guy who has a bullshit misdemeanor. Misunderstand. I'm talking about thugs, gangbangers, et cetera, et cetera. That said, the Second Amendment is absolute. Right? The Second Amendment does not, I don't care what the Supreme Court said. Right? I don't care what any court said. I don't care what the law says outside of this. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. If a court interprets the Constitution incorrectly, then the court is wrong, not the Constitution. If you want to change what the Constitution means, you have to go through the process of amending it. The Second Amendment is absolute. Shall not be infringed. Right? If you are a signatory to any law that references firearms, you are
what's going on
in violation of the Second Amendment.
Is this people getting like stop and frisked, basically?
So that's what I was.
What's going on here?
I don't know what the exact circumstances are we're talking here.
Post a link, Aaron. Come on,
Jesus, Aaron. So if they're just stopping people on the streets and searching them and taking their guns from them, then I'm not in for that.
Whoa. FBI just raided John Bolton's home. Base department.
Sorry,
we're going to need to see this one. See if you can find
what's funny? I saw John Bolton was trending earlier, and but I was looking for DGU stuff.
Which turns out it was Michael Bolton. Be like, oh damn.
Nope.
Yeah.
Security clearances were stripped early.
The probe dropped when Joe Biden became president. So is this picking up where that left off, David?
It's possible. I don't know with 100%. It's notable, guys, that John Bolton, Ambassador Bolton, were stripped earlier this year by President Trump. Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, took that security clearance away. They had concerns. The administration had concerns about Ambassador Bolton still being able to access some of these documents and have some of those security clearances. It's also notable that John Bolton had a security detail as well. Because of the threats from Iran on his life, that security detail, that government federal paid security detail, was also taken away by President Trump.
It's a pity that he's such an evil piece of shit, because that is a glorious mustache.
It is. Oh yeah, this Warmonger Supreme.
Where are my old white heroes with glorious mustaches?
Yeah. I wonder what it's about. Because this guy, despite him being like neocon supreme, like Skeletor tier villain level, okay, he also is protected by some very powerful people. Okay, he is an utter sycophant for the state of Israel and has received numerous awards from the state of Israel. Like he could flee the country, go to Israel, they would not extradite him, despite the fact that he's not Jewish. Okay, but yeah, I wonder what it's about.
Yeah, if he fled to Israel, he would essentially be treated as if he had that dual citizenship.
Oh, absolutely. Curious. I wonder. I suspect it was probably related to leaks. Okay. Which is why they'd be coming after him.
Heather 007 says Bolton broke his NDA when he used classified information for his book, The Room Where It Happened. Trump started an investigation before his first term was up, and surprise, surprise, Biden stopped it. Trump fought the publication of Bolton's book due to national secrets, but was unsuccessful. The FBI raided the Maryland home.
Yeah, that's not going to.
No one is above the law except for Epstein's clients.
That's not going to stick. They're just fucking with him.
You know
fair
what?
enough. He deserves to be fucked with. That man tried to single-handedly ruin diplomatic efforts between President Trump and Kim Jong-un. Okay, single-handedly tried to nuke that those peaceful accords. So to hell with him. Plus, I mean, come on, he's like Lindsey Graham. There is no one there. He's never seen a target he didn't want to bomb. Okay, everything to him is a target for a bombing campaign. All right, yeah, or drones. But truth is, there is actually a procedure if you want to write a book. If you if you were in the intelligence community, read on to certain things, okay, held a clearance, there is a process to I forgot the term for it. Minimize it. There's like a minimization process to write about your experiences, but it has to be approved by. There's actually like a public affairs office within the organization that has to approve what you wrote. You know what I'm talking about, Chris?
Yeah, and it's a complicated process because the people that the organization that has to basically you have to produce the material that you want to publish, right? And you have to do it in the appropriate location under the appropriate security conditions, and then you have to have that reviewed by an organization within the organization whose job it is to review that. And because of the nature of classification and compartmentalization, often the organization doesn't have anybody that's read in on the particular things that have to be examined. So they have to bring somebody from the office that you're from who is read in on the need to know, and they can read it, and then they can advise the office, okay, this is okay. This is okay from our standpoint. Now you may review it for the
right
kind of higher echelon, but lower classification material, And yeah, it's
And any request for minimization of the contents of what you wrote must be abided by. So they could chop your script up, and there's nothing you could do about it. So I'm guessing Bolton.
And if you've never seen the original, if you ever seen, you would enjoy this actually. And I'm almost certain you didn't watch it. The first season of the John Barenthal Punisher.
No.
Mario, for guys like us, that season is worth watching just so you can sit there and marvel at. You can't say that.
Is that the shockingly violent one?
Yeah, it's excellent.
Okay. Yeah.
It's excellent. And yeah, the first season especially. Like season 2 was good, but especially in the first season, you're like, we're not supposed to talk about that shit out loud. You can't say that, motherfucker. Yeah, it's a popcorn munching motherfucker. All right. Well, brother, I think we're gonna have to wrap on the Bolton news. Aaron Olson, the idea that she's confiscating weapons, if what she's talking about is arresting violent criminals who are committing violent crimes, rolling up bad guys, and the weapons are being confiscated incident to an otherwise legitimate arrest, I'm good with it. But if they're just rolling around and searching people for guns, that's a bridge too far.
So you're an FBI agent, okay? You're raiding John Bolton's house, and you access his secret fetish room. All right. You walk in, you see Lindsey Graham's portrait on the wall, an extensive collection of female lingerie, and BDSM.
I was about to ask if Lindsay's wearing a blue dress.
What do you do? Like,
no, you go straight to X.
Live stream. Hey, John Bolton, a freak.
Are you kidding? I'm an agent, and I'm into raid homes like a place like that, brother. I have cameras that I can mount on the side of a gun, and you won't even notice it. I mean, forget a GoPro. I've got body cams that look like buttons.
Yeah.
You know, I've got freaking serpent cams that are for, snaking a sewer line that you just run up the side of it. Boom.
I wouldn't be surprised if John Bolton had a literal dungeon, okay, for a basement in his property, and that there are people being actively persecuted at this time, people being liberated by the FBI. I wouldn't be surprised.
I could see myself showing up, right, and I've got my M4, right, with an M203 on it. And somebody, Lowry, we're not going to need the HE here. I'm like, oh no, it's not loaded. There's nothing in there because it's an airsoft. Because it's an airsoft M203 with a GoPro in it.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say the 203 not the best choice for close quarters combat. unless you got the giant the 4-gauge shotgun shell. Okay, which I have never seen. Have you ever seen one of those in the Army? It's in the book. It's in like the field manual. Your little soldier guide.
The 4-gauge shotgun shell.
The 4-gauge shotgun shell that you can fire out of the 203. I have never once seen one. I think it's like
I've seen the gas canisters. I've seen the HE. I've seen the rubber bullets, the rubber shotgun bullets.
Yep.
What else? I've seen a few different ones, but no, I never saw the 4-gauge shotgun shell.
Yeah, it's like a mythical weapon that the Army it's in the Army manual, but no one's ever seen it.
Yeah, it's a Coca-Cola can full of buckshot.
Like something like that Neo Geo game, Metal Slug. You know what I mean? It's like something out of that. Yeah. That's what I want. That's what I want in my 203.
Aaron, I'm not going to go digging for the link right now because we're about to wrap this one up. But if that's something you guys would be interested in, I could do some shows on different kinds of cameras, and I could talk body cameras, I could talk cinema cameras, I could talk run and gun freaking news gathering cameras, I could talk dash cams. I've got a dash cam in all my vehicles because you never know. Like, I'm not an ACAB defund the police guy, but I am somebody who takes precautions. It's if you don't have a dash cam, fix yourself. All right. Here's a quick story, and I've told this story on air before, but about I guess it was about almost 2 years ago now. I was in a very minor fender bender in my old pickup truck, and I was literally sitting still at a traffic light. I was on the phone with Steve Rodemeyer, sitting still at a traffic light, and this dude turns out. He's turning left out of a gas station and just drives into my front left tire.
Wow.
Right? In his hoopty. And we pull over. And he gets out. And he says, "Yo, we ain't got to call the cops, man. We ain't got to call the cops. We just settle up, right? We just settle this up." And I said, "You know what? Okay, cool." And I look at the damage. I look at the situation, and I think about my frustration. And I tell him, "I tell you what, you hand me $800 cash right now. We walk away." "Oh no! I gotta replace the rim. I gotta fix this front end here. Got to get a front end alignment. I mean, there's damage here. I've got to deal with. So I'll guesstimate $800. Right? That should cover the damage and my time. And we'll call it good. But I got $800. Nobody got $800 on. I'll give you my phone number, man. You call me, I'll make it good." I said, "Yeah, no, you won't. You won't." So I call the police. And this dude, I shit you not, says, "All right, man, I'll be right back. I gotta run back to the house because I gotta drop my kids off so I don't get a ticket because he had 2 children with him who should have been in car seats and were not."
Yeah.
So he runs home to drop his kids off to avoid getting a ticket for not having them in car seats when he was just in a car accident. Of course, the police arrive before he gets back. And you just let him leave? I mean, I let him leave. It's a grown ass. Did you want me to draw my pistol and hold a gun point in front of his children?
Yeah. Yeah. Try to.
And the cop's like, "Okay, that fair. You're right." I'm like, "Look,
Yeah.
I got control over homeboy."
You're getting set up for like a bit.
I was
set up for a McDaniels. Getting set up for a McDaniels moment, right?
Yeah. And I told him, look, I'll tell you what happened. I was sitting at the red light. I was on the phone using Bluetooth, hands-free law, good to go. When he pulled, turning left out of the gas station there, he hit the front end of my truck. You can see the damage there. That's what happened. And then he said he needed to run home and drop his kids off so that you wouldn't write him a ticket for having his small children in the back of the car without car seats, right? And the officer said, "Okay, well, we would just stay here. Just stay here with us until he comes back, and we can hear his side of the story." And I was like, "What? His side of the story? You know what? How about this, officer? How about I show you the camera?" And I pulled the SD card out, stuck it in my laptop, showed them the video, and I said, "Oh, okay, so that's what happened." And homeboy comes back. A little bit of credit there.
Yeah,
He did in fact come back to the scene, and the cops never looked at my driver's license. They never asked me for my proof of insurance. Nothing. I told them the story. I showed them what happened as the camera recorded it. Homeboy comes back. He tells them his side of the story. Makes up some excuse for why he had to run home. Right? So that he doesn't say that he had to take his children home because he was afraid he'd get in trouble for having the kids without the car seats. They wrote him a ticket for reckless something or other. They wrote him a ticket for the kids in the car seats because they saw the video where you could see the kids that didn't have car seats. And they gave me the paperwork, which included the phone number for his insurance company, and let me go. They didn't ask me for my name, which I know they got off my license plate. They didn't ask me to see my driver's license. They didn't check my ID, nothing. They said, "Mr. Lowry, have a nice day." Have the camera. Also, if you get just absolutely plowed into by a deer, that makes for a great video off of the dash cam, just for chuckles, as long as everybody's unhurt, right?
Right.
And then finally, of course, well, how often do you just see something cool and crazy when you're driving around? You know, if you're driving through downtown Atlanta or downtown Orlando or something because you've, for whatever reason, got to do some business in the city, and there's a free the nipple march going on, you know what? That's some footage worth having. That might be worth some money. And then, of course, if you're getting pulled over, you know, you got your dash cam pointed right here. Cop comes up to the window here. However the conversation goes, for good or ill, you've got that record, and that's valuable and important.
So it can be a lifesaver. Literally.
So that's your safety brief. Get you a dash cam. And with that, I'm going to have to go ahead and put a pin in this one because I need to get out and cut the grass before I go shoot some houses today, y'all. Thanks for watching this morning. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday, so 2100, the Deep Dive Special. It's going to be a good one. Y'all buckle up, and we'll see you then.
And hey, if you want a sneak preview, all right, ask yourself, what happened this week back in 1992? See you tomorrow night.
Anniversary, baby. Big anniversary. All right. Ciao.
Ciao. Shit, man.
See how I gave them an excuse like it's my fault we have to go ahead and cut instead of yours?